We often credit icons to just pure talent, right? Or genius. But what if perfection wasn't some kind of gift, but a blueprint? Today, we're going to deconstruct the system behind Beyoncé's flawless performances, and it all comes down to an unwavering commitment to a single, powerful idea: the rehearsal obsession.
In 2018, when Beyoncé headlined Coachella, she didn't just perform a concert, she delivered a cultural artifact so complex it was immediately recognized as a benchmark for all live music. And look, this wasn't just about the music. Homecoming was this meticulously crafted celebration of Black culture, of history, of education, all happening on one of the biggest stages in the world. It was a statement, really, a thesis on precision and power, and it kind of posed a question: what is even possible when every single variable, every note, every step, every camera angle is brought under absolute control?
So let's start with the execution itself, because to really get the system, you first have to appreciate the sheer scale of the final product. Homecoming wasn't just a good concert, it was a logistical masterpiece. It felt impossibly perfect, like watching a Swiss watch operate on a football field. It didn't just raise the bar for live performances, it completely changed the definition of what a live performance could even be.
I mean, just think about the scale of it. You've got 200 performers on stage. And not just dancers, but the intricate interlocking parts of a full historically Black college and university marching band. That's 200 people, each with their own marks, their own cues, their own movements, all moving as one single flawless organism for over 2 hours. The choreography, the music, the lighting, the transitions, every single element was executed with a level of control that felt almost inhuman. It was so perfect, so airtight that it just redefined a benchmark for live music. This wasn't just a great show, it was an organizational triumph. And that, right there, brings us to the central question. When we see something this flawless, our first instinct is to call it magic, or some kind of innate genius. But labeling it that way is kind of a disservice to the reality. It lets us off the hook. This wasn't magic, it was a meticulously engineered outcome. So, let's pull back the curtain. How was this spectacle actually built, piece by painstaking piece?
The answer lies in one single, staggering number: 11. For months on end, the entire 200-person cast rehearsed for 11 hours a day. Just let that sink in. That's way longer than a standard workday, and it was dedicated solely to refinement and repetition. This wasn't just practice. It was a relentless, almost industrial-scale commitment to labor. It was a brute force approach to perfection, designed to find and eliminate every single possibility of error long before a single fan even set foot on the festival grounds. And that commitment proves the core philosophy we're digging into. Perfection, in Beyoncé's world, is not some mystical lightning strike of artistic chance. No, it is a logistical reality. It's an output that can be predicted, that can be manufactured, but only if the input is an absolutely extraordinary volume of meticulous planning and rehearsal. That unshakable authority she has on stage, that isn't a persona. It's something she earned, hour by painstaking hour in the quiet of the rehearsal room.
A work ethic this intense doesn't just appear out of nowhere, right? It's forged over time, under very specific pressures. To really understand her obsession with control, we have to go back to the roots of her discipline, to the environment that taught her that absolute control was the only real path to survival and success. This drive was there from the very beginning. She grew up watching her parents, both entrepreneurs, work these relentless 18-hour days. The lesson was crystal clear. Nothing is just given to you, you build your own success. Then came the demanding, almost militant structure of the girl group boot camps for Destiny's Child. The music industry itself is a pressure cooker, but for a young Black woman in that era, the margin for error was basically zero. The work couldn't just be good, it had to be so undeniably excellent, so polished and perfect that no one could diminish or deny its value. And this wasn't just about external pressure, it was innate. Her sister, Solange, has talked about how even as a kid, Beyoncé had this internal drive for refinement. She'd take a single line of a song or one dance step and just repeat it over and over and over again until it met some internal standard of perfection that nobody else had even set for her. That little detail is so revealing, isn't it? It shows that this drive for mastery wasn't just a professional strategy she learned later, it's a core part of who she is. So when you combine that innate drive with the intense pressures of the industry, her obsession with rehearsal becomes something much deeper. It stops being simple ambition and turns into a strategic defense mechanism. It becomes an earned shield. In a world that can be chaotic, unpredictable, and frankly exploitative, a world that might try to minimize your contribution, irrefutable excellence becomes your armor. The work you do in private becomes your power in public.
Okay, so this history of relentless work forged by both this internal drive and external pressure, it all leads to this powerful guiding belief system. Because it's not enough to just work hard, you have to fundamentally believe that the work itself is what guarantees the outcome. So what exactly is the core conviction that fuels this incredible level of effort? What is the philosophy at the heart of the entire empire?
This brings us to the heart of it all, the Rehearsal Obsession. This is the name for her core philosophy, the engine behind everything she creates. And it's founded on a really simple but radical idea, that greatness isn't some mystery you wish for, but a predictable result you can manufacture. So let's put a definition on it. The Rehearsal Obsession is the conviction that excellence is the predictable, controllable outcome of meticulous, high-volume preparation. But what's even more important is what it rejects. It is a strategic, direct rejection of the whole myth of spontaneous genius. You know, the idea of the effortless artist who just walks on stage and magic happens out of thin air. This philosophy argues that true sustainable power comes not from luck, but from logistical control and the systematic elimination of every possible error.
And there's this really powerful psychological side to this philosophy. Think of the rehearsal room like a bank vault. Every single day, that's where she goes to deposit her anxiety, her fears, her self-doubt. And the currency she uses to make those deposits: repetition, sweat, hard labor. Then, on show day, she makes a withdrawal. And what she withdraws is irrefutable authority, that deep cellular knowledge that she has prepared for everything, that she has earned the right to be on that stage, and that it is physically impossible for her to get it wrong. The flawless performance? That's the dividend paid out on that massive investment.
But look, a philosophy is only powerful if you have a system to actually execute it. So how does she translate the idea of the rehearsal obsession into the reality of a flawless performance? Well, she does it by building and implementing systems of total control. This is the blueprint for perfection. She operates using two core mechanisms that work together in perfect harmony. First, you have the integrated vision system. This is her internal process for creating the art. It makes sure every single creative element, lighting, sound, choreography, is developed and aligned all at the same time. The second is the Physical Scarcity Model, which is her external strategy for presenting the art to the world. This is all about strategically managing her public presence to protect her energy and force everyone's focus exclusively onto the finished product. So one system builds the perfect machine, the other ensures it's unveiled under perfect conditions. Let's dive a little deeper into that integrated vision system. Step 1 is the simultaneous test. In most productions, departments work in their own little silos. Not here. Nothing is developed in isolation. The choreography is tested with the stage lighting from day one. The visuals are built in response to the musical arrangements. Everything evolves together as one cohesive unit. Step 2 is detail immersion. She is personally involved in every micro decision, from the first rough edit of a visual to the final sound mix. This is not delegation, it's total creative ownership. Step 3 is image control. This control extends even to her public image, with dedicated photo shoots backstage to ensure every single image released is consistent with a unified vision. And finally, step 4, codified cues. This is where it all comes together. They rehearse until every cue is just codified into muscle memory for all 200 people. The goal isn't just to be good, it's to make failure physically impossible. Now for that second system, which is just as crucial, the Physical Scarcity Model. Her famous privacy isn't about being a recluse, it's a calculated business strategy. By giving very few interviews, she does a few critical things all at once. First, it forces the media and the public to focus their attention on the only thing she wants them to talk about, the finished product. Second, it protects our most valuable and finite resource, her personal energy, so it can be channeled into the extreme creative labor her art demands. The result? The work becomes the only statement. The art is forced to speak for itself because it has been so perfectly crafted to do exactly that. So when you combine the rehearsal obsession philosophy with these two powerful systems, the result is truly transformative. This is the mechanism that allowed her to evolve from just being an artist working within the established industry to becoming an industry titan who owns and defines the structure itself. And that leap is where her legacy is truly cemented.
The pivotal moment in this transformation was the founding of her own company, Parkwood Entertainment. This wasn't just another business venture, it was the ultimate expression of her entire philosophy. It was a strategic move to take complete, end-to-end control of not just her creative output, but of her marketing, her distribution, her entire economic destiny. She was no longer just building a performance on a stage, she was building an empire on the foundation of discipline. This timeline really shows her methodical path to industry dominance. And notice the cause and effect here.
In 2010, she forms Parkwood to get control. By 2013, she leverages that control to pioneer the surprise album, a bold move that was only possible because she knew the quality of the work could bypass the need for a traditional marketing cycle. By 2016, she perfects the visual album with Lemonade, setting a new artistic standard for the entire industry. And by 2023, the cumulative result is just undeniable. She becomes the most awarded artist in Grammy history. Each milestone wasn't a lucky break, it was a calculated consequence of owning her entire process.
So we've seen the spectacle of homecoming. We've understood the roots of her discipline, defined her core philosophy, and we've broken down her systems of control. And that brings this story from her journey to ours. What is the mastery equation here? How can we apply this blueprint to our own goals, our own projects, our own work?
This quote right here, it just encapsulates the single most important takeaway. This is the mastery equation at the heart of the rehearsal obsession. See, true mastery isn't achieved in that one fleeting moment of brilliance when you finally get something right. No, true mastery is achieved when you've reached a state of such deep preparation, such ingrained practice, that you have systematically eliminated the possibility of getting it wrong. Perfection isn't the goal anymore, it's just the baseline. Excellence becomes your default state.
So, the final challenge is this. Stop treating your most important goals like a wish you hope comes true. Start treating them like a complex but solvable logistical equation. At our core, Beyoncé isn't just a performer, she is a meticulous student of her own potential. And her greatest weapon has never been just her voice, but her unwavering commitment to the rehearsal obsession. It was her systematic approach to planning every single detail, from a single dance step in a Houston studio to a global album launch, that created a legacy of undeniable, groundbreaking perfection.
Because in the end, whether you're on a stage in front of 100,000 people or sitting at a desk trying to perfect a project, the principle holds true. The difference between good and great, between memorable and legendary, is almost always found in the relentless, repetitive, and unglamorous labor of rehearsal.